a very luxurious chicken dish, and something I did used to make in the restaurant sometimes when I could get hold of morel mushrooms. Morel mushrooms are the kind of the gold standard of mushrooms. These dried ones, but they're not cheap. I think a small pot from the supermarket is about £13. Um, but they are, if you love mushrooms, these are incredible. Other ingredients you're going to need are chicken thighs, bone in, skin on, some chicken stock. We're also going to use some stock that we make from the mushrooms, some wine, and some shallots. I'm going to make enough for 2 people. And garlic. I'm going to use garlic, but instead of rabbiting on, I'll get started. The first thing I'm going to do is rinse these, fill this up with cold water, swish it around, rinse it out, and I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times to get almost all of the grit out. First thing to do is to cover the morels with warm water and leave them to soften for at least 20 minutes. Also, no, that's it for now. Sorry. I remember what I was going to say. After 20 minutes, take the morels out and gently squeeze any excess water, but keep the water, set it to one side. We're going to use it as stock. Nothing will go to waste. Also, preheat the oven to 220 degrees, ready for your chicken. Put a knob of butter and about a tablespoon of olive oil in a pan. Put the pan on a light and melt it. I've seasoned the chicken with salt and pepper. The butter and olive oil has melted. Put your sprigs of tarragon into the pan and put the chicken thighs on top of the tarragon, and then they will go in the oven and roast for 20 minutes. If they're really big ones, they might need 25 minutes. I've got everything here ready for the sauce. I'm melting 25 grams of butter and I'm putting in 2 finely sliced banana shallots or echallots. I've also got a clove of garlic, which I've taken out the bitter middle from, which will go in a bit. I've got the morels. I've got the morel water. I've got some chicken stock and some cream and some wine. We're going to first of all cook these very gently for about 10 minutes. Once the shallots are lovely and soft, now is the time to add your very thinly sliced garlic. Once the garlic has cooked for a couple of minutes, you're going to put in the morel mushrooms, coat them in all that buttery onioniness, and just cook them for a couple of minutes. I've just moved it to another ring that I can turn the heat up on because that was on my low ring. I'm now going to put in a healthy splash of wine. You could use masala, which is a particular favourite of mine, with mushrooms, or you could use vermouth. It's very nice. And we'll just let that bubble for a minute or two. And then we're going to add both stocks. That is bubbling already. So now I'm going to put in about 100 ml of chicken stock and 100 ml of the mushroom water. Now, just be careful with that you leave all the sediment in the bottom, because there are bits in the bottom of there, last minute sort of leftover bits of grit from the mushrooms. Bring this to the boil and you want to reduce it by at least half. The chicken, the first cook is done. It's nice and crisp on top. You now need to drop the temperature of the the oven down to 160. What I find easier, and it is actually a very hot day, is I've got the oven door open for a little bit just to get rid of, otherwise it'll take ages to go down to 160. But I still have about 5 or 10 minutes on the sauce. So the chicken can just sit there. The sauce is reducing and cooling the oven down to 160. The stocks are now nicely reduced in the mushrooms, so I'm just going to add, it's about 100 ml of cream. So every measurement is about 100 ml. It hasn't got to be exact, but just try and make it all equal. And I just want to bubble this for a little bit until it starts to thicken, and we'll also Taste it. It will need a little bit of salt, not too much, and some pepper. This is where the laser temperature taker is actually incredibly useful because I can see how cool the oven is from leaving the door open. It's still 10 degrees too high. I did this in a top tip. The sauce is now nicely, it's just thickened slightly because I still want to leave it so that it will cover the chicken. It's a very naughty dish. It feels naughty. As I'm cooking it, it feels naughty. Cream. It's only the cream and the butter. And now you want to just pour this all over the chicken. And then this will go back in the oven for 20 minutes. I love my Asian food. I love my healthy eating, but there are some times where I just love cream and butter. And this smells absolutely sublime. The chicken, incredibly, has stayed crisp on top. I've actually, just in the name of health, I've put some really fresh washed spinach leaves on there. I'm going to pop the chicken on the top. Oh God, look at all the butter. It's all kind of separating from the cream. What's not to love? Out of camera shot, I do have, I have some leftover baked potatoes, which I have mashed because they make great mash. Thank you to that plane. But here it is. This is roast chicken with morels.